All right, I think the recording has started. So once again, good evening, everyone. I'm actually having a hard time finding a good uh, charger port here at the airport. No? So medyo bukal ang charging station. But anyways, so let's move on. I believe we did an asynchronous kind of introduction and class orientation last week. And I appreciate everyone who stayed with me for the almost 2 hour worth of chatting in our group chat. As discussed there, no, through our messages, exchange of messages, I presented to you the outline of the topics that we are going to discuss the entire semester. And if you can still recall, the first part of the discussion will be all about the anatomy of a case. So when we speak of anatomy of a case, we will study the parts of a case because it's also very important for us to understand these parts in reading jurisprudence. Okay? So I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation which I can also share with you guys after our discussion, or perhaps not necessarily tonight, no, immediately after, but I can send it to you within the week. All right. So let's start. So the first part of a case, if you are reading a case, the first part, the topmost part of that case is what we call the title page. Okay, so again, the topmost part is what we call the title page. However, if we break it down further, by the way, if you can open your cameras, please open your cameras. I can also see you here on my screen. I hope you can also see me. I have turned on my video. So for the title page, we will break it down further to see what are the mini parts of the title page. So the first part of the title page is the header. So we have the title page header. So in the title page header, it will show us the following. Okay, so the topmost one is the seal, official seal or logo of the Supreme Court. So it's in the first line of the title page header. After that, so the second line of the title page header is the words Republic of the Philippines. You can see it in the second line. In the third line, immediately after the words Republic of the Philippines, you can see the name of the Supreme Court. Okay, Supreme Court. So the name of the Supreme Court is placed in the third line of the title page header. In the fourth line, we can see here the place where the court held its session. So before coming up with a decision, the Supreme Court will be holding a session. Okay, so the place where the court held its session will be placed in the fourth line of the title page header. And after 3 spaces, so gikan starting from the fourth line, napatay 3 spaces after that before ta mag-start sa ato ang fourth line. I mean, before ta mag-start sa ato ang fifth line rather. So after 3 spaces from the fourth line, we can see the words either en banc, first division, second division, or third division. So the Supreme Court does not have to always convene en banc. No? So the Supreme Court can act per division. So we have the first division, we have the second division, we also have the third division. So if this particular decision, if this particular case was heard only within a specific division. You can see that in the title page header, whether it's from the first division lang, second division, or third division of the Supreme Court. But for very what we can say na kanang very important yun siya nga kaso such that affected yun tanan tao sa tibok Pilipinas. Let's say it's more of like a political case. So most of the time, the Supreme Court will be sitting en banc for that case. So en banc. When we say en banc, meaning i-combine tanan divisions. Okay. So you can see here an example. So in this certain part of a case, from what we have recently mentioned, no, where do you think asa man ka ani nga part ang gitawag nato nga title page header asa siya kutob? Asa siya kutob? So kutob siya dinha, di ba? So again, we've mentioned that the first line should bear the seal or the logo of the Supreme Court. And then the second line should be the words Republic of the Philippines. Third line is the words Supreme Court. And the fourth line, which is the word Manila, unsa pasabot gani ani Manila, this is the place where the session was held. Okay, and then 3 spaces after Manila, we have the specific division of the Supreme Court who rendered this decision. So in this case, in this example, it was heard by the 3rd division of the Supreme Court. So kanina ko ang gi-highlightan, gi-enclose sa red lines. This is what we call the title page header. Okay? Clear? So clear siya ha, clear siya sa ato ang mind sa kanang part. Next part of the title. So still part of the title, ganiha atong gitawag is title page header. This time, still part of the big umbrella which is title, we have the case title. So the title of the case consists of the names of the parties and their appropriate designations. So in the lower courts, if it's an initiatory pleading, for example, dito pa siya sa MTC, sa RTC, we can see the words complainant and defendant, or complainant respondent, or petitioner respondent. In the appellate court, kung naa na siya sa appellate jurisdiction, dili na siya kinaunhan, no? Dili na siya first instance, but here na siya sa lower court, is just that gi-appeal lang siya, gisaka siya sa next higher level court. We can see now the words or the designations appellant and appellee. So when we say appellant, sa pasabot, si appellant mao ang nag-file sa appeal. And then ang iyang adverse party, ang iyang kontra, is what we call the appellee. Okay? If what is filed is a petition, okay, let's say petition for certiorari, petition for prohibition and mandamus. So the one filing the petition is what we call the petitioner, and the adverse party, the opposing party, is what we call the respondent. Okay, so it is what we call the case title. So we have here an example. People of the Philippines versus Juan de la Cruz. Here we can see there are 2 parties, right? The people of the Philippines and Juan de la Cruz. And it also contains their designations. So in this one, people of the Philippines is the appellee and Juan de la Cruz is the appellant. Okay. Another example. Lauro C. Bautista versus Judge Juana de la Cruz, and so on. So we can see here also the designations. This one is the complainant and this one is the respondent. Juanita V. Diaz is the complainant versus Attorney Julio de Macuja. So still complainant and respondent. So there will always be there should always be designations placed after the names of the parties. to let us know, to let us also understand kinsa man ni sila nga mga parties. Okay. So going back in this case, diba, this example, since we already pointed out a while ago, asa dapit ang title page header, no kani siya nga part, title page header na siya until there is a third division. Asa man dapita ang case title in this example. So the case title is here, right? So it's the case title. For the case title, again, what we can see for case title are the names of the parties together with their respective designations. So in this example, we have here Erickson Kabutahe as the petitioner versus the Republic of the Philippines and Romelia Kabutahe as respondents. Okay? So again ha, kani siya nga part, kaning tibuok nga part nga ako ang giya until there is a linya sa ubos kanina XX and all. Mo na siya ang tibuok title. Okay? Collectively, they are called the title. And then if we chop the title, we can see the title page header here and the case title here sa left side. All right? Okay, so let's move on now to the next part of the title page. So the next part of the title page is your docket numbers. So each case is assigned a docket number when filed. So the docket number is placed opposite the name of the party first listed. So you might get confused sometimes no, when you search for cases online like sa Google, and then let's say you open the Lawfil nga link, no, lawfil.net, pwede sa katong Chan Robles nga website. So if magtanaw mo ana, kani siya nga placing, giingon diri nga the docket number is placed opposite the name of the party first listed, might not be true sa web nga version. Ang kani magud siya nga formatting is kato yung actual paper gani nga i-release due to Supreme Court. So sometimes if you really want to see the exact document issued by the Supreme Court, kinahanglan ang PDF copy ang inyong i-search online. Dili lang katong web version, okay? So if makita ka sa PDF copy jud mismo, you can see that this format is being followed. So again, normally the docket number is placed opposite the name of the party first listed. Okay. So, balik ta ani, mamagya po natong example ganiha. So, we already pointed out that this part is what we call, unsa ito? The title page header. This part, unsa ganito tawag ani, kanito nga part sa kilid, sa left side, the case title. And the third part is what we call the docket number. So again, ako gi-mention ganiha nga si docket number is normally placed sa opposite side sa party first listed. So in here, the party that was first listed is si petitioner, si Erickson Kabutahe, diba? And then opposite side of his name should be the docket number, which is, in this case, is GR number 248569. So this is the docket number. So this is the docket number of this particular case. Okay? Nakuha na to? Okay. So clear na siya sa atong mind. So tulo na kabuok atong nabalaan no nga parts sa title page pa lang. Title page pa lang ha. Okay. Now, it's still going back to docket numbers. If the cases are consolidated, the cases are listed. So the docket numbers, if consolidated ang cases, because there are also some cases nga i-consolidate ni Supreme Court sa una individual dito lang nga cases. Let's say 5 na siya kabuok nga separate cases. Pero the Supreme Court deemed it necessary to consolidate everything, katong 5 ka kaso, simply because they involve the same subject matter. Okay, murag pwede siya himuan og decision all together as a group. So pwede siya i-consolidate na i-power sa Supreme Court to consolidate separate cases unta. Separate unta siya originally, pero iyang i-consolidate. So when that happens, if the Supreme Court consolidated several cases, what happens now to the docket numbers? So if the cases are consolidated, the cases are listed according to their docket numbers in ascending order. So like akong gi-mention ganiha nga, let's say 5 ka buok nga, separate unta siya nga cases. So each case, na sila kaugalingon nga docket number, diba? GR number, whatever. GR number, whatever. So meaning 5 ka buok nga GR numbers. But since i-consolidate man siya sa Supreme Court, if you read that consolidated cases, the cases are to be listed, isort siya, isort siya, and the sorting should be based on their docket numbers in ascending order. So pasabot sa ascending order, mag-una ba ang gamay kaysa sa dako? Or mag-una ang dako kaysa gamay? Sige, unsa man yun nasabtan sa ascending? So, ako na litubag, no? Mag-una ang mas gamay na GR number and then followed by the higher GR number. So, I'll show you an example here. So, 2 pages na siya actually. The left side is the first page and the second, the right side is the second page. So, you can see, you can observe here that this is actually a consolidated case. Ano, kaingon man tanga consolidated case ni siya. Kabantay mo duha ka buok versus duha ka buok set of parties. So unsaon man paglista ni Supreme Court, again, if there are consolidated cases, the listings should be based on their docket numbers in ascending order. Now we have already established that when we say ascending order, dapat mag-una ang mas gamay. Mag-una ang mas gamay nga number. So we can see here, this GR number, right? And this GR number. So tanawa, ang first na GR number is 269. And then the second number, so nag-una ni 269. And the second GR number is 2276. Okay? So obviously, mas gamay gyud si GR number 269249 as compared to GR number 276602. So inana na siya paglista, okay? Dana kay unahon di ay ang mas gamay nga GR number. So this is in the case of if in case several individual cases were consolidated by the Supreme Court. Okay, clear? Now, still on docket numbers, still on the discussion on docket numbers. For administrative decisions, okay, so we have administrative decisions involving court officials or court personnel. Pwede siya court officials or court personnel. And other administrative matters. The docket number should be written as AM number. So instead of using GR, if it's an administrative decision involving court officials or court personnel, or if it involves other administrative matters, then the docket number should be AM number instead of GR number. So at least karon clear na siya sa tong mind no nga. If mag-read ta sa isa case, unya ang makita nimo nga docket number is AM number instead of GR number, dapat automatic na pud mo set sa atong mind, iset jud nimo ang settings, no? Settings, i-tweak nimo daan ang settings sa imong utok nga ang imuha din gibasa karon is an administrative decision. Okay? So at least you create an expectation sa imong mind nga ay since AM number man day ni ang docket number ani, pasabot di ay ang aqua di ang contents di ay ani is all about court officials and court personnel or other administrative matters involving the Supreme Court. Okay, so I'll give you an example also. So example here, no? You can still see here the title page header, no? But in the docket number, you can see AM number 24-02-09-SC. So again, di ba ingon ta nga If it involves court personnel, court officials, or other administrative matters with the Supreme Court, AM number ang iyang docket. So tanawa ang iyang case title, no? Draft Department, so Draft Department of Justice, so DOJ, NPS, National Prosecution Services, Rules on Preliminary Investigations and Inquest Proceedings. So more siya o internal nga rules for preliminary investigations to be followed by our prosecutors. So, administrative matter siya. That's why the docket number is AM number, this one, 24-02 and so on. Okay? So, this one. So, dili siya GR number. Okay? So clear na ta ha. So, at least, sa title pa lang daan sa page, sa case rather, sa title pa lang daan sa case, maset na dato daan ang expectations sa atong utok na ay, ani siya, administrative matter ni siya. Ang issue ani nga kaso. Okay. Hindi na magpataka og sabot sa to ang kaso. Okay. Next. Still on docket numbers. This one for administrative decisions gihapon, but this time involving lawyers. So gikasuhan si attorney. Okay, for administrative decisions involving lawyers, the docket number should be written as AC number. So instead of AM number, the docket number should start AC. So AC number if it involves lawyers. Okay. So example here. Okay. Nata din kumbaga gisansor ang iyang name, gihide ang iyang identity as the complainant. But you can see here it involves a lawyer, no? If you can see the name of the respondent is Attorney John Michael Alamis. So clearly, this case involves a lawyer. And since it involves a lawyer, you can see that the docket number is AC number. Nagets? So again, for example, nagbasa ka sa isa kaso, and then nakakita ka sa docket number, AC number siya ay about din siya sa isa ka apogado. Kay AC number man ang iyahang docket number. Okay? Okay. And then, the last, okay, here, no? This is still the title page, ha? So this is still the title page. So we already know that the first part of the title page is the title page header. Nasabta na nato ganiha, di ba? Followed by the case title. Diri dapit mo ni siya ang case title kani sa left side. And then opposite to the name of the first party listed is your docket number. Because that is the third part of your title page. Okay, comes now the last. Not actually the last. The fourth rather. The fourth part. The fourth part of your title page. So the fourth part is your list of justices. Justices of the Supreme Court. So the names of all the justices of the en banc or division, as the case may be. So again, diba, we've established a while ago na the Supreme Court can act by division, pwede first division, second division, or third division, or pwede sa siya en banc. Okay, so if en banc, ilista na ng mga present justices, or if division lang siya, ilista po ang mga present na justices. So as the case may be. Are listed in capital letters below the docket number according to seniority. So ang paglista sa mga justices, dili siya alphabetical order, if you will notice later on. So ang paglista-lista sa ato ang names of the present justices will be in accordance with their seniority. Dili siya alphabetical order. So atong tan-awon, ha? So again, kanira gyapon atong i-example kay mao man ni atong gigamit ganiha. Okay, so mo ni siya ang ato ang list of all names of the justices. So here's the second division lang siya. Second division lang ang ni here ani nga kaso. Okay? If you can see, dili siya alphabetical order, no? So again, the listings here of the justices of the Supreme Court of the second division was made in accordance or based sa ilahang seniority rather than alphabetical order sa ilahang surnames. So if you can see also in capital letters starting from their surnames. Nakuha. Gets? So, unsa to tumuto, it must be clear in our minds. So, okay, so clear na siya. Clear siya sa atong mind. Okay, okay. Another day na ito makuan na sabtanong, mao din ni sila sa kaning tuiga kung kano saan siya na promulgate, mao din ni siya ang ni-compose sa ato ang second division. Okay. Next, number 5. This is another portion or another part of our title page. This is the date of promulgation. Okay, so if the date of promulgation is placed below the names of the justices. So, going back to our previous example, we can see here that this decision was promulgated on April 12, 2023. And that completes our picture here, right? So, at least, kiba ta ay unsa man nga mga words din hinuna inigtan-aw na to sa isa ka kaso, dili na nato siya immediately nga i-dismiss o papakawaon sa ato ang mata. No, samok-samok ka man yung mga words din So, at least we befriended them and we already know unsay pasabot di ani ng mga words sa una nga para nato gibberish o what nato nasabtan. At least karon abaw na mao din na siya ang meaning ana nga mga gibutang din sa title. Okay. So, why is it important for us to know the date of promulgation? Okay. Make sure, for example, if you are writing a pleading and you want to quote a jurisprudence to support your allegation or to support your defense, make sure that what you are quoting as jurisprudence is the latest jurisprudence. When I say latest, it doesn't have to be always like dapat 2026 jud siya or dapat 2025 jud siya. Ang pasabot na ang latest is something nga wala pa siya gi-overturn sa Supreme Court. Diba? Kaya sometimes manggod mag-change ang mga doctrines nato na sa una mauni ang ruling ni Supreme Court pero iyan na po giusab sa after pila ka years giusab na po niya. So dapat tan-awon gid ninyo nga kung karaan na kayo na siya nga case, let's say ang pagtan-aw ni Mudiri is 1980s pa siya or 1990s pa siya, you should always search for another case similar to that, no? Parehas og doctrine din to make sure and to confirm nga valid rin hapon ni siya nga jurisprudence. Wala pa siya na overturn, wala pa siya na change sa Supreme Court. Okay? So, be always careful in reading jurisprudence kay kinahanglan latest jud siya. Okay? I remember one scenario when I was in my first sem jud siya. Political law, constitutional law. Nakalimot ra ko sa exact case title ato nga kaso, but I clearly remember nga i-effortan jud nako siya og nag-read jud ko sa full text. And then pag abot sa exam, sure, nigawas man siya. Sabak ligawas siya. Sulitan kay kabaw ko sa answer kay ako gutong gibasa. Lami kay kung kuan dito, confident ko sa akong answer. Pag abot sa results sa exam, may gani sa nga mo ang teacher, mahilig sad siya uli gid gani sa among notebook sa una na naa-adjust scores. Kabaw jud ka kung sakto ba ka ato or dili. So pagtan-aw na ko ato nga number, wrong po as in wrong jud siya kaayo. Tingnan ko ngano man nga nibasa man ko ani nga jurisprudence niya. Mao man jud ang ruling. Kay mao di ay ang ako ding gibasa is ang mas karaan nga version kabugo man inday. So wala ko kay bawo nga naa di ay bag-o nga same gid siya like same gid ang parties. Usahay magud mag-flip-flopping ang Supreme Court no marag ani naman ma-convince na pud siya pero same gid kaayo like same gid kaayo ang name sa parties. Basin dieg nag-MR pa to siya, nag-MR, allowed man ang 1 MR, 2 MR sa Supreme Court, actually maximum 2 sa Supreme Court. Nya kay ang akong gibasa di ay kay ang mas karaan nga day nga year kabugo man jud day. So mo nang lesson learned, tan-awag yun ha, tan-awag yun ang year para sure ta nga mo gid na siya ang latest. Kay basin confident kay ta unya human di ay to dili mao ang ato ang gi site nga decision. Okay? So at least clear na siya sa atong mind. Kuan na ta kanang magbantay na ta. Okay, samtang first year pa mo dapat hibaw na mo sa inyong bantayan. Sa ako ang good nga in my defense, defensive lang. Wala man good yun nagtudlo na kung noon saon jud siya pag-approach ani unsa pagsabot sa kaso ana. Anyways, next. Okay, next part is the ponente. Okay, before the body of each decision, the surname of the justice who penned the decision appears in capital letters. However, if the decision, so makitaan jud mo kinsay kumbagay offer who penned the decision. So among all those, for example, among all of these nga justices, kinsa man jud ana ang nihimo ni pen ni right sa decision. So mano ta tong gitawag nga ponente. Okay, so makita ninyo kung kinsay ponente because before the body of each decision, the surname of the justice who penned the decision appears in capital letters. However, if the decision is per curiam, use the word per curiam in place of the name of the ponente. So later ato ang i-discuss pa further on sa pasabot sa per curiam. Okay? So for this part lang for purposes of this discussion para comprehensive lang sad siya sa ato. Per curiam is a Latin for by the court, meaning signifying a Supreme Court decision or opinion which is issued collectively in the name of the court rather than attributed to a specific named justice. So kumbaga, amo agid ni tanan nga decision, amo agid ni tanan nga pagkasuwat. Dili ni siya attributable to a specific justice lang. Okay? Dili ra isa ka specific justice ang nag-pen ani kundi kami jud tanan mo na ang per curiam. Okay? These decisions are usually short, unsigned, and used for non-controversial or summary unanimous rulings, though they can sometimes be used in major divided cases. So in this case, ato i-kompleto ganiha. So we already know these parts. Diri tataman sa promulgated. Ang ponente is here. Okay, you can see here, the ponente. So among all the justices listed here, ang ponente meaning ang nagpen gyud sa decision is kani siya nga justice. Okay? Kana siya, dili sila tanan ang nagsuwat ani kun dili kanilang siya nga justice. Kana akong gi-highlight og red. Okay? So mo na siya atong ponente. Nganong importante man sad para nato nga mailhan kinsa ang ponente. When you take the bar pohon, okay, we have what we call a bar chair. No? Kung kinsa jud ang chairman, kinsa nga justice ang mo chair ana nga certain bar exam. Unya, uso kaayo sa mga bar takers no nga kung kinsa gani ang ilahang bar chair, mangita sila og cases nga penned mismo sa ilahang bar chair. So for example, in my case, Justice Leonen. So ang ako mga classmates, nag-compile jud sa or nangita jud sila kung kinsay ni compile ato. Wala ko nibasa. Pero nag-compile jud sila og cases nga ang ponente kay si Leonen. Kaya nga magud sila nga sometimes kuno the bar exam chairman eh medyo bias siya sa iyang own cases. Mo lang gingon ha. Pero depende ra sa ninyo if naamoy daghan oras o panahon nga mobasa jud sa tanan cases decided by this specific justice, then go. Pero if wala, like me, I was working while self-reviewing for the bar. Wala ko nibasa sa mga decisions nga ang ponente kay si Leonen kay. For me, once you know the foundation and the basics of the law, bisan kang kinsa pa nang akaso, kang kinsa pa nang ponente, maka-answer jud ka. Mura ko agi ko. Confident ra kay ko. Kunuhay. Yan yung excuse rin ito para di mo basag daghan. Anyways, pero sakto man sa jud, di ba? Kung kaibaw na jud ka sa basics sa balaod, ani nga legal provisions. Bisan pag kang kinsa, bisan pag unsaon ka og hapak. Unsa nga angle ipangutana sa imuha, makaibaw na jud ka mo answer. Bahala wa ka di ba sa cases nga ponente jud si Leonen. Pero at least karon di ba mao din ni siya si ponente. And since first year pa man, first year mo or sa kanyo na day mo, sorry, I thought first year. First year lagi, some of you are first year, some of you are second year, sorry. Sa sige ninyo basa ba? Sa sige ninyo basa og kaso kay. As in daghan, jud kay magbabasa nga kaso hangtod mo graduate mo sa law school. Later on, makabantay gyud mo nga naamoy mahimong favorite nga ponente. Ano naman? Kay, kumbaga, murag ko sila author, no nga, tagaan sila og freedom, unsaon pag-discuss ang ilahang opinion dinhi sa kaso, and their decision. I mean, unsaon nila pagtarong ba, unsa nga words ilang gamiton. So, you might see later on na makabantay mo nga, kani siya nga klase nga justice kay poetic jud kaayo, like for example intruhan gyud niya mga lami kay mga words, basta poetic jud kay siya ana. Nasa uban nga justice nga dili siya kaayo na naka-poetic nga wala siya yung mga flowery words, pero butangan gyud niya murag summary na jud ba of the case in the first paragraph pa lang daan. Pag first paragraph pa lang daan hibaw na kaunsay ruling, ano nasa inana napayuban nga kanang ponente na thorough jud kayo, like storytellers na halos tanan detail sa facts iya yung isulti dito mo unsay nahitabo, tanan mo nagtaas kayo iyang decision pero nindot ang flow sa iya. So ikaw pod, you will have your own favorite. Like in my case, ang ako mga ganahan basahon nga mga decisions is kanang na-adjust siya story ba? Na-adjust siya storyline na ma-follow jud ako. Di ko ganan nga ambak-ambak. So again, depende na sa ilang writing style jud. So, kamo na bahala kung kinsa inyong ganahan nga ponente. So, keep on reading cases for you to pick your own favorite. Ha? Pero at least kay bawta kinsa man day author ani, kinsa man day ang ni-pen ani nga decision. So, whoever penned that decision is what we call the ponente. Okay. This one is an example. Per curiam, kung giingon ganiha, no nga. If ever the decision was made in per curiam, then wala tayo mabutang diha nga specific name of justice. Wala tayo ponente dinha nga specific name ani nila tanan. So instead of writing a specific name of a justice who penned the decision, since this decision was made in per curiam, then the words per curiam will be written instead. Okay? Gets so far? Okay. Next comes the body. So, discuss sa title page, ha? So, kailan natatanan unsay parts ana nga title page. So, next comes the body of the decision. So, if you can, again, this only applies sa kanila akong ipag-ingon. This only applies if you are looking at the PDF version of the decision. Katong yung gi-issue gyud sa Supreme Court. Again, if you are reading the web version, kanang sa internet nga version nga, kanang gi-copy paste na lang siya ba? Gi-copy paste siya nga website. So could be walay in ani, but supposedly na-adjud siya another header na pod sa body. Okay? On the second and subsequent pages of the decision or resolution, the word decision or resolution is typed, as well as the page number and the docket number as header. So meaning to say, if it's page 2, look at here. So if you are looking at the PDF file or if you're looking at the physical printed copy of the decision, so ang first page, makita nimo dito ang title, no, katong title page. Pag pakli nimo, pag move on nimo sa second na page, you can see here the page number. No, this is now page number 2. And then the word kuno, the word decision or resolution as the case may be. So in this case, this is a decision. Okay, the word either the word decision or resolution. And then this one is the page number and the docket number. So in the subsequent pages, dapat naagyo na siya din has babaw, okay, as the header of the subsequent pages. Ako ha. Okay? Para mag-guidance sa taba nga, wait, this is the third page di ay, and I am still reading the same case. Okay, what if di ay kalit lang murag nay kanang nasayop lang pag-print ba. Unya kay nay nasagol drag lahi nga page. Sa lahi unta to nga kaso. At least mag-guidean ka, ay hala, nilahi lagi ang pangan din nilahi lagi ang GR number or nilahi lagi ang page number ni skip lagi siya o page number. So ana magets na to nga wala day continuity ang ato ang gibasa. Makahibaw ta nga sayop ang ato ang next page or kuwang ang ato ang page if there is any missing page number, di ba? Okay. So this part for the body sa subsequent pages dapat natay mini nga header sa ibabaw, header gani so babaw gyud, no? And then the opinion. So most opinion sa katong ang opinion itself mo na ang pinakataas nga portion, no? It could go on for many pages. Ang uban kay tapulan sila kung ano lang 2 ka page or 3 ka page, pero kung grabe jud kay siya kanang thorough kayo sa iyang pag-write sa iyang opinion, then usahay mo abot og 10 pages, 15 pages. And some cases, especially involving constitutional law, wala mo abot dihag 20 ka pages, maabot og 50 ka pages. So wala jud tayo specific nga number of pages gyud, no? So ang makataas ana is opinion nga part. And again, walay specific format. So to kung gingon ganiha nga naiuban justices nga ganahan mag-start og mga palami lang sa kastorya nga kanang mga quotes kuno hay pwede man sa nila butangan. Pero most of the time opinions start with a recital of the facts in the case. So after citing the facts in the case, marabag tagaan sa niya og context unsa din nahitabuan ni nga kaso. Then the court will then apply the law involved in the facts in this particular case. Unsa nga mga applicable legal provisions, unsa nga mga specific articles, sections of the specific law ang iyang i-apply ani nga kaso. Precedents may also be cited. So when we say precedents kay kanang mga previous nga jurisprudence na previous cases already decided by the Supreme Court which may involve the same subject, which may involve similarly the same lang jud nga facts and circumstances nga pwede nila gamiton ang whatever decision there, pwede niya i-apply to this instant case. Okay? Pwede sad siya mag-cite og mga statutes or other authorities that he may rely upon. So depende na lang na siya sa ponensya. So at this point, it is also important to remember the ratio decidendi or the holding of the case and distinguish it from a mere obiter dictum. So kung may kag ratio decidendi, mawgid siya ang murag essence, mawgid siya ang reason why inani iyang decision. Okay, murag mas bugat nga rason nganong ni-arrive sa ani nga decision. Ang obiter dictum, on the other hand, is more of like a side comment. Okay, more of like a side comment. Or ka na bang marag, by the way, marag pinainan na by the way, mga by the ways lang. So, obiter dictum is not authoritative. Ratio decidendi is the authoritative. Obiter dictum is not. So, kasi pasabot authoritative. Pasabot na, mo na siya ang compulsory and compelling. Okay? Obiter dictum is merely persuasive. Such that, for example, if kanina kaso nga imong gibasa, ganahan ka mo quote og portion ani. Let's say naghimo kag pleading sana na niya, nibasa kag isa ka kaso nga ganahan ka mo sad og jurisprudence. Make sure nga ang imong i-quote nga portion actually pertains to the ratio decidendi. Kay if ang obiter dictum ra, ang obiter dictum ang imong gikuha, nya mao ang imong gi-quote, gi-cite sa imong pleading, then dili siya authoritative, meaning pwede siya i-disregard sa court. Okay, so make sure that what you are quoting, what you are reading, is actually the ratio decidendi. So you may ignore the obiter dictum kay mura ra man siya side comment, mura ra siya og by the way ni ponensya. Okay, sa inyong other subjects, sa man siya nga subject i-discuss ha, nakalimot naman ko. Okay, I was a first year in 2016. So 10 years ago na to. 10 years ago na ako nag-start of law school. So unsa na siya nga? Basta you will have a separate subject in law school which will also help you practice, no, distinguishing ratio decidendi and obiter dictum. And then we have the different types of opinion. So if you scroll down, okay, you can see sometimes you can see concurring opinion, you can see dissenting opinion. Actually sa una maglibog gid ko na unsa kasabot kasabot og dissenting opinion, obvious modification no nga ni dissent siya, wala siya ni agree sa ponensya. Pero kung concurring sa una maglibog pa ko ha unsay difference sa concurring opinion ug ang opinion gid mismo ni ponente. Okay, ni ponente. So karon atong tan-aw no nga unsa din siya nga mga klase or types of decisions. So we have the majority opinion, you have the per curiam opinion, you have the concurring opinion, dissenting opinion, memorandum opinion, and en banc opinion. So first, when we speak of a majority opinion are those written by a member of the majority after the court reached its decision. So, meaning to say, majority opinion is the opinion that won. Di ba kay majority wins biya? For example, if may kag, let's say, pila ka buok, let's say 15, no, sa 15, pila man ang majority sa 15, dapat mauna ang makadaog. Kung 30% only said yes, and 70% said no, dapat ang no ang makadaog. And that no is what we call the majority opinion. Okay? So the ratio decidendi or the holding announced with the majority is considered the law. So it is what is upheld. And we already know statutory construction day. In our statutory construction and in our basic civil code jud nga provisions. When we say jurisprudence, case law, it has the same effect as the law itself. Diba? Jurisprudence has the same weight as that of a law itself. So kung unsa ang majority opinion, that majority opinion is the law and serves as binding authority on the lower courts in the Philippines. So maura na siya ang pwede i-cite as jurisprudence, ha? So take note mo kung magbasa mo og mga kaso, tanawag yun if basin concurring opinion ang imong gibasa or basin ang dissenting opinion imong gibasa niya, quote mo ato akoan, dili man na siya pwede i-cite as jurisprudence ang concurring opinion o ang dissenting opinion. So pagbantay mo kung unsa na nga opinion ang inyong gibasa, be very wary and careful, ha? So tanawa kung nabay words nga concurring opinion or dissenting opinion, then ayaw na mabasa na. If ever man ganahan mo mabasa for curiosity purposes, nganong ni dissent day ni si justice, whatever. Nganong majority, let's say majority of them, like 90% of the justices ni concur jud sila no nga maugid ni agree jud sila nga mao ni siya. Niya na specific nga justice nga ni dissent jud siya. Dili siya mo agree sa decision sa majority. Okay, then he also wants to explain why ni dissent siya, he can always make a dissenting opinion. But take note ha, but since naghiskot naman tag dissenting opinion, dili pod required nga if mo dissent si justice, maghuhimo jud siya og dissenting opinion. So dili jud na siya required. He can always say lang nga dissenting. Di-dissent lang siya, pero dili siya maghimo og separate nga opinion. Dili niya i-explain nga ni dissent siya. I mean, dili niya isuwat in a separate opinion. Pero obviously, during the session of the Supreme Court, obviously, iya dyan nang i-explain no nga nung dissent siya. Orally, no, while in session. Pero wala na siya ni pen og another dissenting opinion. Okay, so dili siya required nga. If mo dissent, kinahanglan na dissenting opinion. Dili na siya required. Okay? But take note, only the majority opinion is the law, and it serves as the binding authority on the lower courts if they want to use the decision of the Supreme Court being the highest court in the Philippines. They should pick the ones nga naa katong portion sa majority opinion. Okay? Then balik ta sa per curiam opinion. Per curiam opinion or decision of the court is the one in which all the justices are of one mind and which is so clear that they do not deem it necessary to elaborate it by an extended decision. So again, usually ang per curiam decision is short lang yun na siya. There are certain cases wherein it needs a per curiam decision. Like for example, a conviction of an accused in a criminal case where death penalty is the imposable penalty needs a per curiam decision. So later on, if na ay i-assign nga ni cases for reading ang inyong crim law nga professor, you might see the words per curiam more often, no? Especially if it involves a death penalty. So again, when we say per curiam decision, it is the opinion of the whole court and no ponente or no specific author will be identified. Kuha, gets na namo. Clear na siya sa ato ang mind. Now, concurring opinion. So, kani siya akong nalibugan jud actually sa una na ni concur man ka siya, meaning agree siya sa result, di ba? Kung may ni concur ka, ni agree ka sa results. Okay, so, but ang difference di, nganong dili sad siya nimo pwede i-quote as jurisprudence, dili nimo siya pwede i-cite as your jurisprudence, ang concurring opinion. It's because, although ni agree siya sa decision, pero dahil ang iyang basis, nganong ni agree siya. For example, the majority opinion is to dismiss the petition for lack of merit. Muna ang ultimate decision nila ba? Dismiss the petition for lack of merit. Let's say one justice actually said, yes, dapat i-dismiss siya for lack of merit. Pero lahi ang reasoning nganong i-dismiss siya. Lahi iyahang reasoning as compared to that of the majority and especially of that of the ponente. Okay, so if he wants to explain his side, why he came up with the same decision, yes, dismiss the petition for lack of merit, but mao ni siya akong reason. So mo na siyang maghimo siya og concurring opinion. Okay, so again, whatever is his justification sa iyahang concurring opinion, dili siya nimo pwede gamiton as your jurisprudence, ha? Okay, again, it's clear na sa ato ang mind na only the majority opinion ang pwede na to gamitan as jurisprudence. Na nasayo po ko ani sa una. Okay, convincing kayo iyang concurring opinion na kay maon di akong gigamit na. Wala na si Mary Ann, okay? Sayop na dayon, wrong na dayon, pero that was in my first year. Buguon pa ko ato nga time, no? Pagbasa og kaso. So, at least kamo sa inyong part since gituduan naman mo basa og giwarningan naman mo, no? So dapat ita magtinanga, no? Ita magtinanga. Na dili concurring opinion ang ato ang gamiton. So these are the opinions written by justices who agree with the actual result reached in a case. However, again, same with the dissenting opinion that I've mentioned, if you concur, no? Anya lahi mo hang basis but you came up with the same result or decision. You may also simply say, I concur. Sa dito sa body sa ato ang decision. You can simply say, I concur and give no other opinion. So again, discretionary gihapon ni sa justice if ganahan siya jud mo pen og separate nga concurring opinion. But if dili na siya ganahan mo himo og another concurring opinion, he can simply say, I concur, and that's it. Okay? Next one is the dissenting opinion. So, ato ano sa din na discuss, no, dissenting opinion. Dissenting opinions are those written by minority. Mo ni siyang wala jud nakadaog, like wala jud margahi jud ang iyahang decision compared sa majority. So that means sa minority siya nga side. Again, a dissenting justice may write a full dissenting opinion, giving the reasons from his dissent, or just simply indicate I dissent. Again, it is not mandatory for a dissenting justice to really pen a separate dissenting opinion. Okay, discretionary ra, depende ra sa niya kung ganahan siya nga i-explain nga nung ni-dissent siya. Next type of opinion is memorandum opinion. Memorandum opinions provide the holding or result, but little, if any, reasoning therefore. Kung may memorandum, di ba ka nang mura o dinalian nga, bubo lang jud siya kaayo. No? Wala kaayo siya reasoning. Kabantay mo, especially ka ng mga karaan nga kaso, kabantay jud ko like mga 1940s, one page jud siya niya, manadayon, murag wala jud kaayo siya, dili kayo siya rich in facts. Diretso jud siya, shortcut kaayo yung pagkasuwat, like one page, or even if you print it in a bond paper, control, nagbasa ka sa lawfield.net, nga i-control pay, wag yun siya kaabot og full page. Mo na ang atong gitawag nga memorandum opinion. So, little reasoning. Okay? So, other memorandum opinion may state only for the reasons given by the court below, we also affirm. Murabag, di ba kay Supreme Court man ni, so daghan pagyagian ng mga courts. Let's say it originated in the MTC. So, MTC gasugod. And then, i-appeal na doon sa RTC. After sa RTC, ato ka sa CA, Court of Appeals. And then, after Court of Appeals, manuday naabot na siya sa Supreme Court. Unya, pag-abot sa Supreme Court, ni-agree ni-agree sa Supreme Court sa reasoning ni RTC. For example, sakto man itong giingon ni RTC, God, sa dito sa court below. Mayroon na siya nga, for the reasons given by the court below, specify nila no, from the RTC of whatever place, we also affirm. Mag-shortcut lang, gi-copy ra nam or ni-agree na dyan ni. Kung unsa iyang reasoning di lower court, maura po na amo we also affirm. Muingon ra siya na. So, memorandum opinion is actually not encouraged. At this time, no ng mga recent jurisprudence, wala na jud tayo makitaan jud nga memorandum opinion ato ng mga karaan. Pero karon na jud is dili na jud siya shortcut, no? Explain jud differently, separately ni court nganong ni-arrive siya og ani nga decision. Okay, then we have en banc opinion. Literally in the bench or full bench. Opinion of the Supreme Court en banc is deliberated by the 15 members of the High Court. So again, ato na po na-establish kanihan, no, na the Supreme Court can also act in divisions. Pwede siya first division lang, second division lang, or third division. So take note if a case is decided sa first division, binding na yun na siya ha. So dili siya kinahanglan nga after sa first decision, i-elevate pa na siya sa second division, i-elevate pa siya sa en banc, dili na. So pwede ra yun as is lang yun nga decision jud siya sa first division. Or decision lang gid siya sa second division. Decision lang gid siya sa third division. But again, mao to siya na there are also cases nga so important such that it affects let's say the citizens of the Philippines, if so political in nature, mo nang i-hear siya en banc. When we say en banc, full bench, in the bench, 15 members of the High Court. Okay, and then lastly is the decision, the final decision itself. The decision is the final element in a case. Okay, so many summaries end up with a one-line phrase describing the holding of the court. So the final decision may be, example, to affirm. So unsa jud ang kabantay mo anong word nga so ordered, no? So ordered, manadayon. So kanang paragraph immediately before the words so ordered, period, before the immediately preceding paragraph, mo na siya ang decision jud. So unsa may decision jud ni Supreme Court, either i-affirm or i-uphold niya, affirm or uphold the decision of the lower court. Or pwede sad kung dili niya i-affirm or dili niya i-uphold, i-overturn niya, no? Overturn the determination reached in the lower courts. Or pwede sad to remand or return the case to the lower court for further action consistent with the court's findings. Or the court may also vacate the case or dismiss it entirely. All right, so clear na siya sa mind. Okay, and then the very last part, which is dili na gid sad siya importante sa atong study of the law, no, kanang na lang ni siya, formalities na lang siya nga part, so the attestation and the certification. So the ponente should attest that the conclusions in the decision were reached in consultation before the case is assigned to the writer of the opinion of the court's division or en banc. And then that's for the attestation na part. And then the certification part is that the Chief Justice will then certify by stating the following. Pursuant to Article 8, Section 13 of the Constitution and the Division's Chairman's attestation, it is hereby certified that the conclusions in the above decision were reached in consultation before the case was assigned to the writer of the opinion of the court. So this is an example, attestation and certification. So permahan nila, more of like formalities na jud siya, no? So if magbasa mo kaso, dili sa tamagol no, asa. Pag scroll down ninyo sa last na dyan nga page, asa ang attestation, asa ang certification, kuwang lagi ni. So, ayaw na napangitaa. Ayaw na ninyo pangitaa, okay? Ilahanan ng kuan ato na nang i-assume nga naa gyud na siyang attestation and certification. Is dili sad siya mo matter sa ato ang pag-cite og jurisprudence og pagbasa nato sa law. Okay? Okay, so that ends our topic on the anatomy of a case. So far unsa man ang ato ang assessment na karon sa ato ang pag-approach sa ato ang mga kaso. Lesser intimidating ba siya na karon sa inyong part? Na the next time nga mobasa mo og kaso maragaan-gaan na sa inyong pamati nga dili kay siya it's as scary as before. Or if you have any questions, you can also pwede ka mo chat in here. Type your questions here sa chat box or message box. Or you can also unmute yourself and propound your question verbally or orally. Unsa man na may question? Wala ra? Wala ra question? Wala ra. How do you read extensive cases, attorney? So my trick no when reading extensive cases is first to before I move on to the body na gani jud of the case, ako as a judge is sure sa akong mind. No, it must be clear in our mind unsa akong tumong ani nga kaso. Unsa nga topics ako ang ganahan basahon ani nga kaso. So for example, ang ako ang gibasa is remedial law. No, let's say specifically civil procedure. So if inigbasa nako sa first line or first sentence ana nga paragraph, if dili gani siya somehow related to remedial law, I will skip that. So skip yun ako entirely kana nga part, and then next paragraph, if I feel like this does not pertain to remedial law, skip. So murag selective na ko sa ako ang basahon nga paragraphs. Sa una, old me, no, noob, N-O-O-B. Na akong husband diri yun sana noob or noob. Anyway, so kung beginner pa ka ba, wala pa ka kaybaw, no, di pa ka expert level. Ang akong gibuhat sa una is basahon siya na nako tanan. If this is 100 pages, basahan gyud ko tanang 100 pages unya. In the middle of it, or bisan gani ko pakaabot sa middle of it, wala na lost na dayon sa nahitabo. Nya human kay na drain na dayon. So karon selective na jud ko. So muna atong practiceon po dapat hibaw ta mo select if this part of the case is relevant to you or not. So daghan magud angles no. So let's say sa kanang 100 pages ninyo, na jud na sa political law nga cases. Taas jud kayo like 50 to 100 pages. Naara jud specific portions din ha pertaining to political law. Kay basin magud ang nakataas sa decision is ang remedial side of it nga wrong remedy daw kuno, motion for reconsideration is not allowed, or it is not wrong remedy ang gigamit ni appellant instead of notice of appeal, kay record on appeal ang yang gigamit, or instead of let's say ordinary appeal ang yang gigamit is petition for certiorari. Inana murag wrong remedy, murag discussion on the remedies ra ba ang nakataas. So remedial law na siya nga aspect. If you are reading this case particularly as an assignment for constitutional law, dapat di na mo basa itong wala ni agree si court nga ang kanisya is the proper remedy, petition for certiorari, kina speedy and more speedy remedy na ba. So ato na skip. So mag-practice na nato, no? So ang ato ang next activity sa next week, mo try tagbasa og kaso with a specific topic in mind. So for example, di ba, you've heard about the case of Tan Andal, di ba? Kay landmark case man siya when it comes to nullity of marriage. So mabasa ta atong basahon next week si Tan Andal. Taas pud kay na si Tan Andal actually. Taas pud na siya nga kaso si Tan Andal. Pero we will look at it sa different subject matters. So let's say next week we read Tan Andal in the eyes of civil law. Then next activity, same case lang gihapon, Tan Andal. Pero we will read it in the eyes of remedial law. Ana. Para makibaw ta which parts sa case ang important ani nga specific perspective. Okay, so muna siya ato ang trick in reading extensive cases. So old me, kung sa meme pa, old me reads 100 pages of cases in 5 hours. New me reads 100 pages of case in just 30 minutes. Diba? Natin tinainana nga pang humble bragging sa social media. Okay, so, okay, any other question? It is given that we are bombarded with so many cases, and some professors want us to recite them without looking at our notes. How can we remember specific cases, attorney? For that one, kay, you need active learning and active reading na jud ana, no? So, what I do before is when I read a case, mag-type ko sa facts, dili na ko siya in narrative format. Kaya kung in narrative, mango siya nga, let's say, maghimo ko case digest for this particular case, kaya para ready ko for recitations. So, dili po ko hilig ka ng mangita gani og case digest dito sa internet. Mangita ra ko ana kung kanang last minute na gud kana galing natay assignment nga ipasuwat jud unya i-submit jud inanam nya GG na jud kinapa koy work so pwede ra ko mangupya ana pero for purposes of recitation, for example, barely have the time, okay, hindi ko own yung case digest. But again, when I write the facts of the case and those specific points that I think is relevant for this subject, kaya ako siya i-bullet form or i-number na ko siya. Number na ko siya. Dili na ko siya in-narrative format. Okay? Para, shortcut ra pa jud, like, I would say nga, nadakpan kay ni gamit shabu. Ana ora na nako murag in vernacular pa jud na nadakpan kay ni gamit og shabu. Unya mo ni murag I also tell a story to myself kung unsa jud ang nakitabuan niya. Ana siya ba murag mo to akong giingon di ba sa ako ang chat last week na you cannot forget something that you have felt in a very strong way. So I try to invoke some of my emotions. Okay mo din ni ang nahitabo. But also it's a skill that you will learn every time you practice that. So murag dili pod sud ka expect sa imong self nga first attempt pa lang nimo kay perfect na dayon, no? So murag you will always do trial and error kung unsa jud nga strategy mo fit gyud sa imong self. Kay lahi-lahi magud kay nay uban nga classmates nako lahi pod ilang strategy nga mas di bagay pod sa ilang learning style. So ako alang inato lang pod ako ang learning style. So trial and error ra gyud, wala gyud tay shortcut ana. Pero I can give you tips pero still it's up to you. So if, for example, if I give you some tips and you will want to apply that the next time you study or read a case, and if you feel like dili siya wala siya ni work sa imuha, so you can always devise another way how to approach this one. For this one no kaning without looking at our notes, ipabarugbo na ka niya man di ka patanahon. Anana jud si attorney ligotan na mo, especially sa Civ Pro, like for example may siya for this meeting 50 cases 20 cases unya dili na siya ganahan nga mo tanaw pa kasi imong notes. Ang check lang pod ana is for example magbasa man mo sa syllabus no kabaw man mo unsa ni siya nga nakaso under. So since kabaw na ka sa topic, ang challenge lang nimo is ang specific facts na lang anak nga kaso, specific facts, but it helps to know nga unsa gani ni siya nga topic nga kaso para marabag imong backtrack ba. Kabaw ko nga kani siya is about chain of custody. So maghalungkat ka sa imong memory nga unsa nga mga facts mo relate sa chain of custody inana. But anyways, ato lang siya practice no. So again, next week atong tan-ang si Tanandal kay gamit kay siya sa ato ang practice pohon sa ato ang analysis of method. Okay? Okay, so wala na question. Actually, gabarog ko diri sa airport dito kay wala man gyud ang kuan din hibang. Walay duol ay mga charger sa lingkuran. Sakit na ako ang bagtak. Anyway, so at least nahuman naman sad ang ato ang discussion. So again, once ready na ang kaniyang recording, ako na siya i-upload. Actually, I have a YouTube channel, like low-key lang ang YouTube channel, pero upload ako dito. And then I'll share the link to you for this discussion, okay? Sige, and then as promised, I will be sharing a copy of my PowerPoint presentation sa inyo. Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Attorney.
Thank you, attorney.
Thank you,
Thank you, attorney.
Thank you,
attorney.
Thank you, attorney.
Mm.